The Lord continued, "My dear Rishi, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration." So, a conversation between Manu and Kardama is the chapter title, and now Lord is speaking. From previous verse, he started telling. The previous verse says, "Having come to know what is in your mind, I have already arranged for that, for which you have worshipped me well, through your mental and sensory discipline." Now, next Lord says that anyone who serves me in devotion, worshipping me, especially those who have given up everything to me, there is never any question of frustration. So there is in Science of Self-Realization, there is a letter written by Prabhupada to Miss Ludwig. So he happened to meet some devotees while the devotees were preaching, and she found devotees very naive, like in their behavior not so polished, not so courteous when meeting outsiders. And devotees were very young also that time. And from hippie culture getting into Vaishnava culture and then preaching and that enthusiasm of preaching. So some people who are a little elderly and very sophisticated, they expect to very polished behavior like that. So one complaint was given to Prabhupada, was written to Prabhupada, that your devotees are not behaving properly, they are not so polite, not so courteous, not so well behaved. So Prabhupada, in reply, he writes in that letter, last portion of the letter, very interesting, he writes that yes, there may be some externally appearing faults in the devotees. Right? It means their behavior or conduct may be like that. But the bigger thing is, greater thing is, they have given up their everything for Krishna. They have surrendered to Krishna. And that is never a mistake. So in their external behavior, there may be mistakes. But in principle, in fundamental point, what mistakes the entire world is doing, they have crossed that mistake. What is that? The forgetfulness of Krishna. Going against Krishna, they have given up that, they have surrendered to Krishna. Now, due to their past activities, past nature, past culture, their behavior may be something like this, appearing to be like this. But they have given up their everything for Krishna, and that is never a mistake. That is how the letter closes. So, anybody who surrenders to Krishna, right, externally it may be appearing like this. Externally it may be, not compatible with the prevailing social norms or cultures or customs. But in principle, from Lord's point of view, right, it is not a mistake. It's the most glorious thing. So same way now Lord Krishna is telling here also that somebody who surrenders to Krishna, he has given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. Frustration happens when there is something wrong done. So some mistake is there, something goes wrong against the Shastra, then a person gets into frustration. But when somebody surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna personally takes care. Then it's never a situation of frustration. So in the purport, Prabhupada says there are two kinds of devotees. One is Sakam category and the other category is Akam. So Sakam is explained as per Bhagavad Gita, Chaturveda bhajante ma jana sukritano archana. Right? Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi and Jnani. So these are explained by Prabhupada under Sakam category. So what are these? Those in distress, those in the need of money, the inquisitive and the wise. Now, they all come to Krishna because they have got some sukriti. Jana sukritino arjuna. Now, how Krishna talks about them, how this whole context of these four kinds of devotees starts. First, Lord says that chapter is titled as Knowledge of the Absolute, Bhagavad Gyan. Right? So, Lord starts with telling that knowledge about me, The first sloka of the chapter says that one who knows me, then he crosses over. He is perfect in yoga. And then he says, it is very, very rare to know me. Manushyanam sahasreshu kasyajati siddhe yattamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvata. Mam vetti tattvata. That is subject matter of this chapter. That to know me in truth. Knowledge of the absolute. So he says it's very, very rare. And those who know me in truth, they come to me. That is also told in Bhagavad Gita. Tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. So coming back to Krishna is very, very rare. Now Lord starts explaining how it is rare and why it is rare and to what extent it is rare. So first Lord says that this whole world does not know me. And the entire world does not know Krishna because they are affected by or influenced by three modes of material nature. So under three modes of material nature, their original consciousness, their original understanding gets contaminated. So in Sattva-guna, their original consciousness is, I am part and parcel of Krishna, I have to surrender to Krishna. Right? I have to serve Krishna. But when Sattva-guna contamination happens, they have the mood of surrender, but their direction of surrender is wrong. They surrender to demigods. So the surrender mood is there, but it is little contaminated, not to the Supreme Lord, but to the next level, that is to the demigods, they surrender. So that is how Sattva-guna contamination works. So they forget Krishna, or they cannot know Krishna because of this. Their pure consciousness is hampered. Then Rajoguna contamination happens. Still they have a mood of surrender to some degree, but still degraded surrender. So they worship Yakshas, Rakshasas, these kind of people. Then further, Tamoguna influence is there. So there is no mood of surrender. Or even if there is surrender, that is to the ghosts, hobgoblins, these kind of people. Otherwise, they declare themselves as lords or they violate the Shastra and go against the Shastra. So that is how Tamoguna influence comes. So Lord Krishna says that because of three modes, no one can know me in truth. If somebody doesn't know me in truth, he cannot come to me. Then he talks about four kinds of people who never surrender unto me. They are called Dushkritina. So, this question of surrender, he says that Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durutya Maam Evaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Maam Evaye Prapadyante. Prapadyante means those who surrender to me, they can cross over this Maya easily. So on one's own strength or by any other kind of effort, right, yogic effort, intellectual effort, jnana prayasa, or yoga means ashtanga yoga prayasa, or any kind of this kind of severe austerity, one cannot cross over Maya. The only way to cross over Maya is Mam ev ye prapadyante. Ev means certainly, definitely. That's the only way to cross over Maya. Mam eva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. So, by surrendering unto Krishna, one can cross over Maya. Because of Maya, one was unable to know Krishna. So, once you are surrendered to Krishna, you cross over Maya, you start understanding Krishna. Once you start understanding Krishna, then the path or the gateway to Goloka opens. Gateway to Krishna's abode opens. So Lord says that four kinds of people will never surrender unto me because they are Dushkritina. Mudha, Maya Pratyajnana, Asurim Bhavam Ashrita, and Naradhama. So, Mudha are those who labor day and night, work day and night so hard, right, earning money and spending on sense gratification. So they don't know that after earning money, as a yajna, we have to sacrifice the fruit of that work to Vishnu or Krishna and thus get liberated. So they are ignorant of this. They earn money and they spend on sense gratification. Again they work hard, earn money, spend on sense gratification and get entangled in this more and more. So these kind of people are compared to a hard-working donkey, and they are called Mudha. Then Maya aprita jnana. These are very intelligent people, but their intelligence goes in glorifying the material creation, or declaring themselves as I am not this body, I am spirit soul, and as spirit soul I am supreme Brahman. So these are called Maya aprita jnana. Then Asurim Bhava Mashrita are those who go against the Lord, who act against the Lord, who decry the existence of Lord, and who preach atheism. So these are Asurim Bhava Mashrita. Now, fourth category is Naradham. Naradhama means those who do not have any religious culture. They are devoid of any religious culture, any custom, tradition. They just live very vagabond or wrangler kind of life with respect to the spiritual aspect. So Prabhupada says they don't have any samskar, they don't have any purificatory processes, and these people are 99% in population. Right? In the purport, Prabhupada explains 99% of population is of Naradhamas. So out of entire human population, 99% is Naradhamas. So remaining 1% is what? Other three categories of Dushkritina and these categories of Sukritina. Correct? So 1% remaining, as Prabhupada says, is all this remaining people are 1% who have little knowledge, little understanding, deviated, or somehow they come to Krishna. So this shows how rare is it to even come to the category of Sukritina. That is, whether Artha Jigyas or Artharthi Jnani, whoever is there, they are all in that 1%. A part of 1%, because remaining 1% is occupied by Asurim Bhava Mashrita, Mudha, and Maya aprita jnana also. Now Prabhupada says, in the next verse, Lord Krishna explains that these Sukritina people are not surrendered people actually. Chaturvida bhajante maam, not prapadyante maam. So very clearly Prabhupada explains, they worship Krishna, they are not surrendered to Krishna, they are not pure devotees. They come to Krishna with certain personal motive. So what are those motives? Whether they are in distress, to relieve themselves of distress, they have some pious credit, let's go to Krishna. Instead of going to any devata, any politician, any leader, any other person, we'll go to Krishna. So one is in distress, they want to get rid of distress. Second category is in need of money. So they need money, they go to Krishna, they pray to Krishna, and they get money. Once they get money, then again, because their hankering or that necessity is fulfilled, they engage at money and sense gratification and forget Krishna. Until again they lose money or they need money. So they are not surrendered. Then third category is inquisitive. And inquisitive are those who are frustrated here and there. And or they are curious. This category of inquisitive, second category of inquisitive is explained in 6th chapter. Those who are unsuccessful yogis, right? Those who have not completed their yoga successfully. So they are unsuccessful yogis. In the next life, after enjoying heavenly pleasure, they again take birth in a pious family, an affluent family, or a yogi family. And again they get attracted to the yogic principles automatically. This attraction of towards the yogic principles, which is coming from their past life, this category is called as inquisitive. They again want to inquire what is it. Right? They are not in full knowledge because they are incomplete yogis who are searching for their self-realization. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. And others who are searching for God realization. As a spirit soul, I am part and parcel of God. I should render service to the Lord. Now, next verse, Lord Krishna says, of these, the wise one who is in full knowledge. Right? So Prabhupada explains in purport, Jnanis are of two categories. One is dry speculator and one is in full knowledge. Now the full knowledge is spoken about. Of these, the wise one who is in full knowledge, in union with me, through pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. So till now we saw that these four categories were worshippers, they are not surrendered. But this is second category of jnanis who are surrendered in full devotion. And this is what Lord is talking to in this verse of our Bhagavatam. Lord is talking about. Then next, again Krishna says, continuing, all these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls because they have somehow come to Krishna. They have not gone elsewhere. Right? There's some faith in Krishna that okay, we'll go to Supreme Personality of Godhead and He'll relieve us of our situation, troublesome situation. But he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider verily to dwell in me. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he attains me. So, this is that category who attain Krishna. So, 99% were taken away by Naradhama category population. Remaining 1% we had 4 worshippers and 3 other Dushkritinas. Now, out of these, there is Jnani category. In that 1%, there is one fraction is Jnani category. And out of those Jnanis, there are 2 kinds of Jnanis, dwelling in Brahman and dwelling in the Supreme Lord. So, taking fraction out of fraction out of fraction, this is how Lord says, this minute quantity, minute percentage of people are pure devotees who dwell in me and they attain me. This is how rare is attaining Krishna. And what happens to the other Jnanis? Like 2 Jnanis are there, one attains Krishna, pure devotees. Other, after many births, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, they surrender to Krishna. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. Knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is, such a great soul is very rare. This is where again Krishna talks about Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate. Because it started from Prapadyate. Mam evaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So others will take further more births. Arth, Jigyasu, Artharthi will take further more births. Jnanis are better placed because they are spiritually inclined. These Jnanis themselves will take many births, thousands of births, right, to come to me. So this is how rare it is. So now here Lord is saying, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. So Lord is assuring there is never any question of frustration. So in Bhagavad Gita Lord says, in this material existence also, and while crossing this material existence also, there is never any frustration for such devotees. When he is in material existence, Lord says, there are 2 very significant verses where Lord assures that a devotee will never meet any frustration. One is Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Pari Upasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham, for those who are Ananyas Chintayanto, means undeviated, they are meditating upon Krishna as here it is said. Right? Both the conditions Lord mentions here. And Pari Upasate. So Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So Prabhupada explains that yoga means when he is uniting with the Lord, when he is approaching the Lord in this yoga, Lord will protect whatever he has done. And Lord will supply all the necessary intelligence, all the necessary provisions to come to him. Right? So in this way Lord assures that a devotee is never frustrated in his effort, in his sincere endeavor of yoga. And further, another place in 18th chapter, very famous verse, Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi. Even if difficulty comes in devotee's life, like Pandavas underwent so many difficulties, but they were always conscious of Krishna. So, because they were always conscious of Krishna, Krishna sailed them through. Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi. So, Prabhupada explains that it is not that a devotee will never undergo tribulation. Right? Even if tribulation comes, he is conscious of Krishna. So Krishna sails him through that tribulation. So there is no frustration for a devotee. So when a devotee in a peaceful situation is practicing yoga, Krishna takes care personally. And when there is a difficult situation, right, still he is conscious of Krishna, Krishna takes care personally. So whether devotee is under the internal energy of the Lord or under tribulations of external energy of the Lord, right, Krishna personally takes care. So in this 7th chapter itself, the verses we are discussing, in the purport there is very nice verse Prabhupada quotes from Bhagavatam. Aham bhakta paradhino hi aswatantra eva tuja sadhubir grasta hridayo bhaktar bhakta jana priya. Lord says, this is a conversation between the Supreme Lord and Bhrigu Muni. Durvasa Muni, when he is being chased by Sudarshan Chakra. The devotees are always in my heart and I am always in the heart of the devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me and I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch and therefore they are very much dear to me. And in Bhagavatam translation also, further Prabhupada explains, Bhaktar Bhakta Jana Priya. Not only my devotees are very dear to me, even the devotees of devotees are very dear to me. Bhaktar Bhakta Jana Priya. The Bhakta Janas of my Bhaktas are also very dear to me. So, this is how Lord's disposition towards the devotees is expressed by the Lord. Right? How Lord feels with respect to his devotees and devotees of the devotees. Right? This is expressed by the Lord. So, similar kind of mood, now today is Rath Yatra day, so similar kind of mood was exhibited by Lord towards his pure devotees in Kurukshetra. So Rath Yatra festival is, first we saw how the rarest of rare it is to be a pure devotee, who come to that category where Lord feels that aham bhakta paradhino, I am under the influence of my devotees. Paradhina means to be dependent. Right? Par adhin, par means somebody else, adhin matlab under. So I am under subjugation. Right? So Prabhupada explains that bhakta paradhin, adhin means given himself into the hands of devotees. So now Rath Yatra, when Lord was in Dwarka, there was a very special occasion of solar eclipse. This kind of solar eclipse happens once in a millennium, once in a yuga. So all the Dwarka Vasis, Supreme Lord Krishna, Lord Balram, Subhadra Mai, Vasudeva Devaki and many others, all associates, they all decided to go to Kurukshetra for special puja, special worship, special, to give charity, to do some special worship and all these rituals. So this travelling from Dwarka to Kurukshetra by Supreme Lord, his brother and sister and all others, this is celebrated as Rath Yatra. So they reached there and this news reached everywhere else that, Lord with all the Dwarka Vasis, they are coming to Kurukshetra for this special solar eclipse celebration or observing the rituals of solar eclipse. So from Hastinapur, devotees came, Pandavas and many others, Draupadi and Kunti Devi, many others. And from Vrindavan also, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, many Gopas, Gopis, all of them came to see the Lord. So this is how all of them assembled there in Kurukshetra. So everybody met, and they met after many years. So their mood was like that, seeing Lord after many years. Very cordially, very heartfully they are meeting, and their emotions, tears flowing. Everybody wants to see Krishna, and all like Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva, they are close friends. Yashoda Mata, Devaki, they are so close friends, and so on. So all of them are meeting, discussing. Then after smiling and exchanging pleasantries with everybody, Lord's mind was that when I'll get a chance to meet the gopis. So in this way, then Lord meets everybody, all the elderly gopis and mother-like gopis. He has to sit with them, and they're all cajoling him, pampering him. But his mind is when I'll get. And then When they see, okay, all the elderly gopis are busy in their own talks, what routine talks they do, she silently escapes and goes to the group of gopis and meets them. So they are all, overwhelmed with emotions to see the Lord, like that. So then they express that we have missed you so much. You were not in Vrindavan, and we have been longing to see you. We have been longing to associate with you, meet you. So in this way, they are expressing their desires. So Lord gives them some transcendental knowledge that you practice yoga, you meditate, and just meditating upon me in your mind is as good as meeting me. Or you engage in your routine activities, so you will forget. Practice jnana. You are not this body, you are spirit, soul. Practice yoga. So they shun all this knowledge. They say, no, we don't want all this knowledge. This all we have tried. You have sent Uddhav. That time also we have tried, but it's all futile. We just want to associate with you. So Lord says, yes, I am here. So then Radharani says, no, right? We are the same gopis, but you are not the same Krishna of Vrindavan. You are dressed in royal attire. You are, with all that royal demeanor, royal attire, royal associates, and this place is also not as peaceful and serene, as we have Vrindavan mood. So we request you to come to Vrindavan and associate with us in our own flute playing Krishna mode. Here you are along with the queens of Dwarka, you are along with your royal associates and all this royal paraphernalia. You don't even have a flute with you. So in this way, they coax Krishna, they cajole Krishna that you please come with us. So Lord Krishna, like he says, Aham Bhakta Paradhino, he immediately agrees. Because he was just testing their devotion, and he says that in return of your devotion, there's nothing I have got to give except for my own self. I cannot repay your devotion, so I am giving my own self. So with this joyfulness, with this bliss, the gopis, they decide that we'll personally pull the chariot of the Lord and take him to Vrindavan. Right? So they pull the chariot of the Lord personally without any horses or oxen, whatever is used. And that is their devotion, that is their joy, to having Krishna back, that we want to serve him. Whatever slightest opportunity, even to pull the chariot and take him to Vrindavan. Right? So gopis are actually appearing to be taking Krishna to Vrindavan, but simultaneously they are also going to Vrindavan, just by pulling the chariot of the Lord. Right? So this is another significance of this festival, that devotee, when he pulls the chariot of the Lord, right, he actually appearing to be, he is carrying the Lord, but actually Lord is carrying him, engaging him in his service. So this is how this festival of Rath Yatra has two significances. One is the travelling of Lord to Kurukshetra for the special event, and Lord submitting himself to his devotees, gopis, and taking them along to Vrindavan. So we'll stop here. ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।